Oh, did we start already? Oh. I thought I had a little bit more time than this. All right. Okay, okay. Check one, two, check one, two. I do not see my mixer. Oh, there it is. The mixer is live. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Nuggets, welcome to Food Truck. My name is Ruka. Today was going to be a cooking stream anyway. I'll be honest about that. But I think it's appropriate today to make it a cooking stream to thank you all for the 400 subs here on YouTube. Thank you very much. Um, what you see on the camera right now is not what we're going to be cooking today. That is my breakfast, lunch, brunch. That's probably what I'm going to be munching on stream uh, today because it's gonna. I feel like today's going to be a fairly long stream, and I'll tell you why. So if you looked at the thumbnail, we are going to be making pizza. And because I'm going to be making pizza, that means a couple of things. That means normal. Okay, so if I really wanted to speed this up, right? If I really wanted to speed this up, I could have, what do you call this? I could have bought some pre-made pizza dough, cooked or uncooked, and then use that for the stream instead. But nah, I like making things harder on myself apparently. So we're gonna be making some pizza dough from scratch, and we are going to basically, what do you call this? It's gonna be a long waiting process. So well, there's gonna be a few caveats to this stream. Normally, when I make dough, I use a mixer. Like I actually do have a stand mixer, a really nice big stand mixer that does all my dough mixing for me. But because of how darn reflective the thing is, I don't feel like doxing myself today. So, no stand mixer for this one. Instead, I am going to be doing this manually. I haven't made dough manually in over years. I haven't made dough manually for over years. Like, it's just, it takes a long time. The consistency is all over the place. I'm no expert. So it's definitely going to be a little bit off. It's not going to be like really good quality pizza dough, but it's going to be pizza dough nonetheless. So that's caveat number one. Caveat number two, we are not using an oven. The main reason why we're not using an oven is because I want to test a different baking method for the pizza. Um, so pizza normally in the oven for about 400 for maybe about 8 to 15 minutes, depending on how nice and crispy or nice and chewy you want it. Today, though, we're not going to be using that cooking method. Instead, we'll be using a pan. We're going to be using a regular non-stick frying pan to bake with this, like on a stovetop type of situation. And it in my mind, I think that's going to work. It would work better if I had like a cast iron pan, which I do not, just because it's not something I'm interested in using, to be honest. Like, I know there's benefits to using a cast iron pan, but it's just me personally. I already have a frying pan. Why do I need an extra cast iron pan? What benefit is a cast iron pan to me, other than maybe really good heat distribution and whatnot? I don't really know. So there's no cast iron pan, just a regular non-stick pan, as well as no oven. So there's gonna be that. And yeah, I think those are the main stipulations today. So as I have hinted, this is going to be a N and N version. So there will be nuts in this one. You can, if you want to follow along or write the recipe down for the future. I'm going to try to remember and write the recipe down in the description after the stream. Um, I haven't been doing that just because I don't normally do like original recipes too much. There's going to be sort of kind of original recipe ish, and with some precise measurements. But yeah, yeah. Let's see, what else are we? Any other caveats I can think of before we start? This is going to be done by hand. This is going to use a frying pan, not the oven. It's going to be a stovetop pizza. I have seen it before. It didn't look quite well done when the person who tried it before, but I think I can do a little bit better than that. So we're gonna try to do a little bit better than that to here. But yeah, the dough making part is gonna be the longest portion of this, just because we have to let it sit for 1 hour, and I have to let it sit for 1 hour to what do you call this? To let it proof and whatnot. It's probably not going to be like a super good proof for the dough, but it's going to be what it is. So I'm thinking this is going to take at least a couple hours to finish, at least a couple of hours. So if we have any downtime, we'll definitely do some other things on the side for sure, just to have the time pass a little bit. But the pizza I'm going to be making today, other than a N and N version, is something I saw online. So I was kind of wondering. I think I saw this a little bit early, but we there is a what is this? It's a pizza with bacon and eggs. Now, breakfast pizzas aren't unusual. I think people have gotten used to the idea of breakfast pizzas, but specifically, this is a moon festival pizza, right? Uh, because well, at least that's what they said in Domino's Japan. Anyway, this is where it's from. Domino's Japan had some Moon Festival pizza that they were selling maybe like a month or two back, or at least or some time ago. And the eggs are there because they look like the moon, and they're cut like that because it looks more like moon that way. And then everything else is like standard pizza stuff: bacon, cheese, and bunch of other stuff here. I'm not exactly sure what else they added, but we're gonna use this as our inspiration for today. They do also have this other version of the pizza, similar ingredients, except this one has mayo. You can kind of see the baked mayo on top, as well as I think that's basil. I think that's basil. I don't have any basil right now, but if we're gonna do something like this, I do have some cilantro that I can use, so it'll probably be fairly similar. But yeah, this is going to be our inspiration for today. The moon, what do you call it? The moon pizza with some nuts sprinkled on top of it. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go and get started because the dough is going to take a while to make and set up. So let me just move over to the other area and we'll get started. Okay, the noise gate is off. As usual, if you want to listen to what I'm listening to, I'll be listening to Asia Dream Radio. That's the station that we're going to be listening to. The link for that is in the description below. I'm going to put my empanada to the side. I'm going to be munching on this every so often. So there will be that. Get some music going here. Sadly, I can't put music on stream. ASMR reasons as well as DMCA. And we don't want to be DMCA'd. Not after coming this far. You never want to be DMCA'd anyway. Regardless of how far you come. Alright. So right now in Asia Dream Radio, the music is playing Tsukikage by Polka Dot Stingray. I've never heard of this band before. Never heard of this band. Oh, I need to move my camera too. Forgot about that. I forgot about camera. Let's get camera moved. Otherwise, I may as well just be a PNG that's stuck into the ground. Oh, mic bump. Mic bump. Oh, okay. It's a little difficult to set up, but Okay, set this over here. I guess I'll go ahead and get the cord. Lots of setup. And we don't have a dedicated cooking studio to do any of this stuff, which is like sad, right? Well, gotta work what you got. And this is what I got. Camera, why are you off? Turn on. Turn on, please. You good? You good? You awake? Nice. Nice. Okay, let's connect you so you don't run out of juice too soon. Ayo. Connect, please. Okay, that's not the right way. And there we go. Okay, everything is set up. Okay, so I had to measure some stuff out ahead of time just so I don't have too much stuff in this room. Like I said, we're not going to be using the oven just because we're not in the kitchen. I kind of wanted to try a different baking method. So we have 2 cups of flour. Ideally, I think for pizza, a lot of people will tell you, use the bread flour just because it has a better chew to it. But I've also used all-purpose flour for this, and it's fine. It's fine. So, I mean, a lot of people are particular. I'm not that particular. If it works, it works. I'd rather keep like 1 set of flour than 2 whenever I'm doing things. So, okay. So we got that, right? Normally, what I would do for this is have a stand mixer here. Like I got a stand mixer, no flour yet, and also no flour yet, stand mixer. What I would do is like put all the liquid in first, and then put the dry ingredients. So wet ingredients and then dry ingredients if you're doing the, what do you call this? If you're doing the stand mixer. I think that's the general method. I've done it the other way too, and usually I've had to scrape some stuff off the bottom. Less much so if I do wet first. Honestly, as long as it gets mixed in the end of the day, that's fine. I've never actually done this technique before where you do the little volcano thing and then put everything in the middle. But that's what we're going to do today. Also putting some gloves on just so I reduce the mess to myself. Alright, let's go ahead and start putting some stuff in here. What are we going to need? My ingredients are all over the place actually. So over here we got some olive oil. We're going to use oil for this one. I don't think I normally see butter for, what do you call this? I don't normally see butter for the dough ingredients. I'm not sure why. I'm really not sure why. But we're going to be using, so here we have 2 cups of flour. If you want to, I don't really like using cups as a measurement when measuring dry ingredients just because it's inaccurate. And depending on how packed those two cups are, you might get a little bit more, you might get a little bit less. So if you can do it, use a scale. Use a scale. I actually measured this out. About 250 grams of flour. That's more accurate. And then we are also going to be adding, where are my notes here? Baking soda. I don't normally add this in the mix itself, but this particular dough recipe is using baking soda. So we're using 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Make sure to level that off before you add that in. So we got that. We're also going to need, I don't have my yeast written out. Why is the yeast not written out for this recipe? Well, I think for the yeast, typically you use 1/4 of a teaspoon of yeast per, I want to say 500 grams of flour, which is plenty. Let's see what a fourth teaspoon of yeast has. It looks quite a bit. This is what 1/4 teaspoon of yeast is, and honestly, that's a lot of yeast already. So we're gonna just keep it there. If we don't really need more. Ideally, if we were not in a rush, you can actually use less yeast. The yeast is just there to add air, make the dough airier, and also gives that nice yeasty flavor. But if you're not too concerned about that, then you know this is fine. You can add a bit more just to get the proofing done a little bit quicker. So we got that. I'm gonna add the oil last, just because I don't want anything else in here. However, I think the other thing. Oh wait. Oh, it's 1 teaspoon of yeast. 1 teaspoon? That sounds like a lot. That sounds like a lot. I'm just gonna add 1/4 more. 1/2 teaspoon total. I don't think we need a teaspoon for this one. That's a lot of. Okay, fine. We'll add a teaspoon. I'm trying to think. Can you have too much yeast? I think, and considering what we're doing today, I think it's fine that we have, you know, as much, like a decent amount of yeast, but not too much. I think the normal yeast packages are like 1 teaspoon and 1/4. So, okay, fine, maybe 1 teaspoon is okay. We'll go with 1 teaspoon. Okay, so normally I would add the water here, but I had a thought before stream. I wasn't even gonna do this, but I had a thought before stream, and instead of water, or at least we may have to do a water mix. We may do a water mix, but I have the scale here just to help me measure this, because I don't want to, you don't want to put too much liquid, right? You don't want to put too much liquid, you don't want to put too little liquid, otherwise the dough is not going to work too well. But we are going to use some pineapples. I feel like it's become a thing in the channel now. So we are going to use some pineapples. We're going to use some pineapple juice to ferment to activate and get the yeast going. Pineapple juice, if we can't get our necessary 160 grams of liquid, then we're going to add some water to that to make it 160 grams. You're not going to be able to see it too well down here, but we're going to aim for 160. So we're just going to drain the pineapple juice into here. The pineapple chunks we'll use later. We will use pineapple chunks later. Just opening that can up a little bit. All right, and let's turn on the scale. Let me see, are we gonna get 160 grams just from this? That's what I want to know. And we are getting, oh, pretty close actually. Pretty close. We are getting about 160 grams of pineapple juice. Great, I don't have to dilute this with water. All right then, pineapple juice. And we're done with the scale. I'm done with the scale. Pineapple juice is now gonna go down the middle. Should be fine. That looks like a lot of liquid actually, now that I think about it. Looks like a lot of liquid. But we'll go with it. We'll also add like a pinch of salt. Just a little pinch of salt for the dough. And then 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 2 tablespoons. Don't have to measure this out, but it's better if you do. And I just barely have enough, barely 2 tablespoons left in this bottle. All right then. Set that aside, we're done with you. we're done with the oil. And now for the absolutely messy part, and this is why we're wearing gloves today. Alright. Okay. Manual dough mixing. Ideally, I would like to do this by hand, so I can actually feel the dough and, you know, get a good feel on the consistency of this thing. Through gloves, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it is coming together pretty darn well. All we want to do is get it all mixed. Let's get that dough all mixed. And I always have trouble with this part, because it always looks like it flakes out on me, but I don't. And this is why I use the dough hook. The dough hook on the mixer, because I know with that I can get a good mix, but with just my hands, it's a little bit difficult. It's a little bit difficult. Just want to make sure that everything is mixed. I don't want a shaggy ball. I want a smooth ball, or as smooth as we can get it. Oh, it's coming together quite nicely. Oh my. I can smell the pineapple in that dough right now. The thing about the pineapple, why the pineapple might work, I think, it's got liquid, right? It's got sugar. So the yeast likes sugar. That's how it stays happy. That's how it works. Water, because we need water for the yeast and dough. The only thing that I'm a little bit worried about with the pineapple juice is the acid. I don't know how the acid is going to affect the yeast. Is it going to kill the yeast? Will the yeast be fine? Bread yeast isn't typically that finicky, but I've had mixed results with it before. It is nice though that we are getting a pretty decent dough. And when we can get to smooth it out, we're gonna let that rest for 1 hour to proof. I think this might actually be good already. And the glove is helping me make sure it doesn't stick to my hands too much. And we're not working with a whole lot of flour here. This is just like 2 cups worth of flour. If we were working with 4 cups, this will be a much more difficult time, I feel like. Yeah, I'm gonna ignore that message. Okay. Okay. This is probably not the perfect dough, and looks like, see, it's breaking up still. I think typically what you want is like there's a window test for this. Like what you're supposed to do is pull this apart until you can see a thin window. Pull this apart until you can see like a thin window that's a little bit translucent. We don't have that. It's still shaggy. It's not, the gluten has not been worked yet. hold up. I need to adjust the camera a little bit. The gluten, the gluten has not been worked yet, so gotta mix it a little bit more. It looks fine, but it needs to be mixed more. If we were making cookies, less gluten formation, the better. Or cake. Then you use the cake flour with basically the least amount of gluten in the dough. You wonder why people don't make bread and such on stream. Some people do. And they can actually use their tools. I cannot. I cannot for reasons. I wonder. This is giving me a workout. It's gonna give me a workout. Ooh, the dough is bouncing back. That's a good sign. Means we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. I do have to wonder though, back in the day, before mixers were invented, before machinery made baking so much easier for people, how beefy were the bakers? This is a lot of work. This is a lot of work. Okay, let's see if that window test works right now. The dough feels pretty good. The dough feels pretty good. Hold up. Let's see. Oh, okay. I think we're done. I think we're done with the dough. You can't see it because there's no real good way to show it on stream. But what I'm doing right now is I'm pulling the piece of the dough that I have and stretching it against light. Oh wait, I do have light. Hold up. I do have light. Oh, it doesn't work the same way. It doesn't work the same way. It has to be on the other side. Well then. Well then. Just know that this dough is probably done. I did like a little window test, stretch the dough thin, see if light comes through without breaking, and it looks like it does. It's probably not going to be the most stretchy piece of dough, but it's nice, and it's done. And so we're going to let this sit for 1 hour. So we're going to get a timer out for 1 hour. 1 hour timer is going to take a while, but I'm thinking it's going to be worth it. So this is the longest step in the process now that we got this done. it's hopefully gonna take care of itself. So I'm just gonna cover that. I'm gonna set that aside. Set that aside. And I am gonna take a quick break. Gotta take a quick break. I could prep the other ingredients right now if I really, really wanted to, and I probably could, honestly. So let's see. Maybe I can put. Can I put a timer on screen? I should probably put a timer on screen. Where is my timer that I usually use? It's probably less than an hour by now. Let me see. Timer, timer, timer. Where are you? Ah, there you are. Timer. Countdown from. What's my clock at right now? That's not it. Clock. Timer is at 58 minutes, so let's say 58 minutes. Not 52, 50, 58. Okay. And then I need to find the file where the timer is putting out the numbers. Otherwise, we won't be able to see it. Where is it? Where are you? Ah, here we go. There we go. Pizza timer. We have a pizza timer now. Except I can't label it pizza timer. Just know that's the pizza timer. Okay. So the plan now is, which won't take long to be honest, is so we have some eggs here, right? Actually, I can start boiling the eggs right now. Let me get that. Let me get our plate ready, our hot plate, and hot plate. Hot plate. Where are your connectors? Oh, it's all the way back here. It's all the way back here. Where is it? There we go. All right, that's good. Where are my pans? There's the pan. There's the pan. We're gonna be boiling some eggs for this one. And water. Okay, not too full, because this is gonna boil. And why are you not on? Why are you not on? Do you not like being plugged into the transformer? Is that what it is? Okay, well I think this will work. Just don't go over the water. Hello. Hello, I'm over the water now. But yeah, we have 2 eggs here that we're going to hard boil. We're going to hard boil those eggs and set them aside. Boil water, set them aside. And what else we need to do? We also have some, oh yeah, we got some other stuff. So we have some bacon over here that we're going to be using on the pizza. I am wondering if I should pre-cook the bacon and before putting it on there. I'm not gonna cook it like all the way through, but maybe pre-cook it just a little bit on a pan, and so that when we get it on the pizza, I don't know how well it's going to cook on top of the pizza if it's not pre-cooked and whatnot. So, you know, kind of have to take that into consideration. I'm going to move this a little bit more. Right there. So yeah, bacon, eggs. Remember also that we use some pineapples, right? We use some pineapples in the pineapple juice in the dough. So because of that, we do have some pineapple chunks now. I could eat this by myself off stream, but why not, you know, cook them in a little bit of bacon grease after we're done with the bacon, and put this also on top of the, what do you call it? Put this on top of the pizza. But yeah, now, oh yeah, we are also going to be using nuts though. So we do have a few nuts. We have a couple of nuts. We have the almond nuts. So we have almonds. But I kind of wanted to like keep the nut mixture a little bit simple. So we have cashews. We have almonds. I was gonna try to see if I need to use one or the other because I don't know if mixing them is going to be a good idea. Also, apparently from the Tohato caramel corn thing that we had last week, there are peanuts in this bag that I didn't realize were there. I thought they were just decorations. I thought according to the bag. So according to the bag, there's some peanuts in this thing, along with the caramel corn. But I didn't realize there were actually peanuts in there. And I don't really like peanuts, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm not a peanut fan, but I'm okay with most other nuts. But I'm thinking maybe we could use a little bit of this also on the pizza. So I may at most 2 nuts, maybe 3 nuts. I'm gonna have 3 nuts today. 3 different. Don't spill. Could have 3 different types of nuts to use. But yeah, for now, let's just get this this water boiling. Get some eggs going. We're gonna be using some eggs and waiting. This is why baking streams are. Unless you're like making cookies. If you're making cookies, it's not such a huge deal. But if you're not making cookies, or like an easy no-bake cheesecake, it's difficult. It's very difficult to, you know, do something bread related, pastry related on stream. Here's the empanadas I set out earlier. Got some potatoes in there, some veggies, chicken. It's pretty good, but I like putting some sauce with my empanada, just, you know, give it a little extra flavor. It doesn't have much flavor to it. The ones I'm used to seeing have like, what do you call this, raisins and stuff like that. But this one had no raisins. No raisins in this empanada. So it's not quite as flavorful. It's probably also not seasoned too heavily. Yeah. I am trying to figure out though how to fill the next 15 minutes because there's a lot of wait steps. And when you have a lot of wait steps, you have a lot of downtime. And what do you do during that downtime? I have no idea. You could do other things. Normally though, if you want really, really good pizza dough, like homemade pizza dough, right? Normally, I would like what do you call this? I would let it proof for the 30 minutes to an hour that it needs, sometimes two. And then after that, I set it aside in the fridge for another 6 to 8 hours. Does it actually make a difference though if you set it in the fridge for another extra 6 to 8 hours? It's hard to tell, and it seems to be like a very, very small improvement, but it is noticeable. It's a noticeable improvement, and I'm not exactly sure why. At least that's what the recommendations are. I haven't tried looking into it too much, but you know, that's just that's just kind of how it is with baking sometimes. I haven't baked in a while though. I have not baked in a very, very long time. I'm just trying to, trying to, but very, what do you call this? Trying to, but very much failing, and like not eating too much carbs. Carbs are tasty. I don't know if anyone's told you this, but carbs are tasty. So, it's hard not to eat them. Carbs are sugar. Sugar is what your body needs to do a lot of stuff. You can also run off other nutrients like proteins and fats, but carbs are tasty. Sugar's tasty, bread's tasty. Even rice by itself is tasty. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? The squirrels also like the nuts. So, and nuts are full of, well, nuts are a lot of things actually. Nuts are protein, nuts are carbs, nuts are fat. I think they're mostly fat though. A lot of people like to say nuts have a lot of protein. I guess, kind of. Not really. Not really. They're more like fat bombs with a little bit of everything else. I mean, it's kind of like why peanut butter is so oily, because nuts are fatty. Pretty much. Pretty much. Man, this thing scares me a little bit, actually. The camera scares me a little bit. If I use the light, it floods it a little bit. Hello, can you see me up here? Might be. Maybe. If you don't use a whole lot of light, it's more reflective. But if you use more light, it's a less reflective. The brightness washes it out a little bit. But no. Hi yo. But yeah, I guess while we're waiting for this thing to boil and trying to do some stuff, what have I been up to lately? So we did the Nikkei stream a few days ago, right? We did the Nikkei stream. Didn't have much expectations going into it. We played it, and it was actually really good. Actually pretty interesting. I'm still playing it 1, 2, 3 days later. I actually had to stop myself a little bit before stream, because it's not that it's addicting, but you can always find something to do. And honestly, after I played it quite a bit more, I noticed that it is pretty much, the system of Nikkei is pretty much almost exactly like AFK Arena. Now, normally I would not touch AFK Arena just because the art style doesn't really suit me. At least I don't, it's not my taste. But I did try it out just to try it out. And I did notice a lot of mechanic similarities that were borrowed from that. So basically Nikkei isn't the traditional gotcha game with stamina gating and whatnot, right? What it is though, what it is from my opinion, Nikkei is basically AFK Arena with Girls Frontline mixed together. That is basically what it is. Girls Frontline being all the guns and stuff. Also a shooter. Also a shooter. It's also a baby from three parents, shooter, Girls Frontline, and AFK Arena. Or idle games in general. I tried idle games before. A bit of it's a bit of a weird thing. It's like you're heavily gated on resources based on how long you just stay AFK. Like you can try because once you beat a stage, you cannot go back to the stage. It is done. There's no farming a stage. You have no stamina, so you don't farm a stage, really. There are things like a tower that you can climb, I guess, which, you know, once you're done, you go up higher, you get more rewards, it's yada yada yada. And then, what else? There's no PvP in this one, not that I could tell. It looks like there's going to be raids. Raids are nice, I think. And it looks like there's also a rogue-like element to it in the simulations. I think they call it simulations in Nikkei, but it's basically a shooty roguelike. That's what it is. Which is, I mean, it's alright. It's alright, but what I did notice though, the similarities between AFK Arena and that because of the resource gating from just by being AFK. The way they do the stages, there's a roguelike element as well as what do you call this? The tower. And also, the one thing I saw in AFK Arena that really made me convinced that Nikkei took it from there, or at least some other idle game, is the exploration map. There's this thing called, I think, I just what do you call it? I just unlocked it. Lost Tower, or something like that. Basically, I don't remember if it's correct. It's Lost something. I'm calling it Lost Tower until someone corrects me. But it's this is this map where you can roam around. There's enemies, there's treasure, and you go around and exploring stuff just for the loot to get these rare equipment pieces that you can use for your characters, right? And that's exactly how AFK Arena was, and it's the same. It's basically the same format. The UI is pretty much the same. So it's like, okay, how much are we ripping off from idle games, or at least AFK Arena? Because I don't know if all idle games do that. Okay, so egg is in. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this hard boiled. Since we're gonna do this hard boiled, let's go for 8 minutes. When it gets down to 33, I am going to take this out. I'm gonna take this out, and we're going to. I'm gonna cool it down because we don't need hot eggs. Hot eggs. Well, I guess cooling down is not too big an issue because normally what I would do is make 6-minute eggs, 6 minutes for the soft yolk. That's what I use for ramen. That's what I use just in general because I like the soft eggs. But for this, I don't think it'll hurt to go a little bit harder, so we're gonna do 8 minutes. I don't want it super hard because we don't need it super hard. But I want it hard enough to where it can still cook a little bit more once it gets on the pizza. I don't like super hard boiled eggs. Like, they're a little too crumbly. I mean, I know people use them for deviled eggs and whatnot. But the softer side is still, you know, me. It's a preference. It's a preference. Mm-hmm. Just munching on the empanada, the other empanada. It's gotten cold now. But hey, here we go. But yeah, back to Nikkei. Um, the gameplay though is very uniquely its own, as far as I could tell. If they borrow that system from anywhere else, I couldn't tell you what, but it's definitely some sort of shooter system. Though it's like a third-person shooter system with lots of cake to show, but it's pretty much its own thing in that respect. Otherwise, the rest of the system is idle game system. Gacha is part of idle games too, so that's not anything different. But but it's an idle game. It's not your standard gacha game. It's an idle game, and once I realized that, okay, I was a little bit more. I kind of could tell where they were going with it because they also had this other thing in Nikkei called I think it's a sinker, some kind of sink tower, or another or some kind of sink mechanic. But basically, the sink mechanic goes like this: it takes your 5 highest level characters, and whoever is the lowest level from those 5 highest characters, you can sync certain number of other characters that you have to be the same level as the lowest level character. And the thing with that is that what do you call this? You don't have a lot of EXP resources and cash normally anyway. You barely have enough to level up like your top 5 or whoever your 5 that you started out with. So because of that, they do have this sync mechanic. I feel like it's a I don't know. I'm not sure if I should say it's a bad mechanic, but it feels like a very clunky mechanic. Even just from just thinking of it from game design thing. But it does allow a lot of flexibility for, like, say you got a new unit, you don't have EXP resources, but you can slot them into this sync tower thing, and they'll catch up to your lowest level, your lowest level of the top 5, which is nice, in a way. So, in a way, that's kind of nice. But at the same time, you're also lacking resources until you hit like the level cap, right? So, there is that. That's the clunky part to me. That's the clunky part to me. But yeah, other than that, I think the story is basically one of the things that holds it together. The story so far, I am in just the beginning of chapter 5. Chapter 5 so far feels like the enemies are actually getting tougher. Also, what do you call this? Enemies are getting tougher, as well as a little bit more tanky. They're not necessarily strong, but they're definitely tanky, and that normally that would not be an issue if there wasn't a timer. Like I think you have like a minute and a half to 3 minutes. I'm not entirely sure. A minute and a half to 3 minutes to finish a stage. If it wasn't for that timer, it wouldn't be an issue to like go through some normal stages. But because there's a timer present, if a timer runs out, you essentially lose the fight. And even if everyone's alive, if you're too weak and that you can't finish in a minute and a half, you can't grind. You can't grind. You either have to improve your equipment, or give gifts to your girls, because that also increases their stats, or do whatever you can, like do the extra stuff in the game that's like a daily thing, basically. Or wait. You can just wait. And you wait for up to 12 hours. I think the AFK resource thing is up to 12 hours storage, though you can always get it before then. I don't think there's too much of a what do you call this, advantage for waiting too long. I'm not entirely sure. if you get better rewards or not by doing that, but that's a thing. And yeah, oh, I should get some water ready for that, for this. Okay, eggs are almost done. There's about a minute and a half left. So I'm getting a cup here with water. I also need to put some ice in there to make it ice cold. What that does is it stops the eggs from cooking once they hit the ice cold water, and it's gonna make it a little bit easier to peel once we start peeling the thing. So yeah, just got some ice. Okay, crack some ice. Wait a sec. I just need to check something here. Am I live? I think I'm live, but... Okay, I am live. Okay, just making sure the screen was actually showing on my channel. For some reason I thought it wasn't. I'm not entirely sure why. Let's see. Yeah, we good there. We good. Okay, oh, okay, that's done. 8 minutes. 8-minute eggs into some ice. And it can stay in the ice for as long as it needs to. But basically here's our setup. Here's setup. Ice, water, eggs. And that's gonna stay there until I'm ready to take that out. Can't believe I come in on the stream and you're still talking about Nikkei. Hey Nutcase, hey Crow, welcome. How's it going? Yeah, I was talking about Nikkei because I was just explaining how the mechanics of Nikkei are actually idle game mechanics. Like, if you haven't played an idle game before, it's basically a type of game where you wait a lot for resources to accumulate. Normally, in other gacha games, you farm. You use stamina. You farm. Stamina is your gatekeeping mechanic, your resource gating mechanic, and what do you call this? That's how you That's how you gain resources, get stronger, and stuff like that. But in this case, since it uses idle mechanics, most of your farming is just being AFK. The actual gameplay, that's pretty solid. I think it's better than most idle games out there. But it still follows that same game design, those same game designs. But yeah, just tell me really quick, has anyone here played an idle game before? I know a lot of people here play gacha, but not necessarily idle games. AFK Arena is one. I think that Fairy Tale one also, I forgot what its name, is also another one. There's a few other ones, Idol Huntress, which is terrible. I took a look at it, it looks terrible. There's a few other ones, but yeah, it's an idle game. Nikkei's an idle game, but the story is solid, which is actually one of the things that holds it together. Okay, let's put that aside. I'm gonna go ahead and pre-cook some bacon for the pizza. We have 30 minutes to kill before we're ready to do any pizza things. So we're gonna pre-cook. We're gonna cook some pizza. Not pizza. We are gonna cook the pizza. If you weren't here earlier, I did explain that we are going to be baking pizza in a frying pan because I want to try a different baking method today. So there's going to be an experimental baking method for pizza. I don't think it's going to work on cakes too well, but this should work on flat things. So cookies, brownies, pizza, those, and maybe flatbreads. Roti Roti, if you're not familiar with roti or naan, those are all cooked on a pan. They're not baked. So yeah, it'll work. I keep thinking you mean like what? Lodals? But no, I just idols. But no, I just like idle games and set and forget it. As in set and forget. Yeah, idle as in set and forget. Yeah, I don't like them either. But Nikkei is a little bit different because I don't think anyone realized that right away. For most people, it looks different. But if you've played those kinds of games before, which I did just for kicks and giggles, you do notice those patterns. And once you think about it, it's not terrible, but it's just a lot of waiting. I was gonna look at Idol Hunters, but I guess that plan is dead now. I mean, you can still look at it. It's just, you know, the obvious selling point of a lot of idle games, as in the set and forget it type of thing, is like the girls, right? And a lot of times the story of them aren't great, or at least very, very basic. Nikkei is not basic. It's actually pretty good, which is the reason why it's still holding even after 4 or 5 chapters. So I'll keep at it until I feel like they're just milking it. But so far, everything seems to be pretty purposeful. So no complaints from me on that side. Okay, so we're not going to use too much bacon. I'm just going to use 3 slices of bacon for this. I was going to use 2, but maybe 3 should be okay. If it's too much, we'll just eat the extra bacon. But I'm just going to like lightly cook the bacon because I don't want this raw I don't want this to be raw when I work with it on the pizza. Also, these bacons are a little bit long, so I'm going to have to cut this in half. Hold up. Cut that in half. Oh, don't scratch the pan. Too late for that. Do not scratch the pan. Just lightly pre-cook. There we go. Probably should have let the pan heat a little bit more, but that's okay. We're not trying to make crispy bacon today. Even though this bacon is like 99% fat by the looks of it. I just took the cheapest bacon I could, and I highly regret it. Because this is just fat. There's hardly any meat on here. And what you really want is not bacon, apparently. What you want is ham. Which is what we're not using today. But we're just going to cook it a little bit. We're going to cook this a little bit and set it aside. I am surprised though. So it's definitely the fattiest bacon you've seen. It's also the fattiest bacon I've ever seen. It's usually not this fatty. It's like, what the heck? It's like pure white. Look at that. It's like, it's fat. There's like a solid piece of edible fat. I'm not a fan of fatty bacon. I know people like that, but I'm not. And I know people like doing their bacon to a crisp. I'm not a fan of that personally, though. If you're gonna have crisp bacon, go all the way. Make it actually super burnt. Make bacon super burnt. If you're gonna do that. But I just need this to be firm enough to be placed on pizza. Hopefully it doesn't make a chewy pizza. Yeah, that's the reason why we're pre-cooking a lot of the ingredients right now, so that the pizza's not too soggy. Can't really do fatty bacon, and husband loves the burn on the bacon. I know a lot of people do. I know a lot of people do. That's how. Here's the funny thing about bacon that I've realized, or at least just by observing. I was gonna say observating, but by observing, the people that tend to like really fatty bacon seem not bad fatty bacon, but burnt bacon are North Americans or maybe even British. You know, either North Americans and British. They seem to like the really crispy burnt bacon because that's what they grew up with. In Asia, you don't normally see fatty bacon. You don't see bacon at all. But if you do see bacon, let's just say Canada or not Canada, Japan or Korea, you don't see bacon that's burnt to a crisp typically. What you do see is like bacon strips with more meat than this, maybe like 80% to not maybe 80% meat, at least 80% to 90% meat, and cooked well, cooked like properly, not super crispy. Once this thing like crisp up a little bit more, I'm gonna take it off and set it aside. We're gonna have some extra bacon grease, but we want to leave some bacon grease in here for the dough once we get to it. If you do burn it, make some nice bacon bits. Yeah, bacon bits. I don't think I've actually had bacon bits before, but bacon bits is basically the leftover bacon parts so that they couldn't that they couldn't pack in the factories, right? That's basically what it is. Just like Marmite and Vegemite is like the leftover yeast, but yet somehow a lot of people like that. I don't get it. I don't get it. But hey, it's a thing. It's a thing. Oh, this is getting nice and brown though. I think I just have this at like 360 degrees. A lot of people will say high, medium, low whenever they're cooking, but I don't have high, medium, low on my burner. The burner says temperatures. So we are at 360 degrees. And which is apparently not too high to be cooking bacon at. But we are getting a heck ton of fat. You see this fat? It's swimming in fat right now. Holy crap. That's ridiculous. I was hoping to only get a little bit of fat from cooking the bacon, but that's a little bit too much. That's a tad bit too much. Okay, I think this bacon here is done. I think I'm also going to need to get some paper towels for this, to drain it off a little bit, because holy crap, that's way too fatty. Way too fatty. Hey, yo. Okay. Bacon. This is also done. Bacon. This is also done. I think they're all done. Bacon. They have shrunk a little bit. Bacon. Oh, that's hot. That's hot. That bacon's hot. This is... I'll call this done. I'll call this done. That's done. This is also done. Okay, so we have 6 strips of bacon. That's decently done, not overcooked. We're gonna cut this into smaller pieces later once once we start making the pizza. So I'm just gonna set this aside. Oh, that's hot. That is actually super hot. Okay, I'm just gonna set that aside for now. I do have extra bacon grease here, so I am gonna drain as much of this as possible into a jar for use later. Let's see, it's funny because the popular bacon bit, which is Bacos, doesn't have any meat, really. Vegetarian friend of mine says it's only thanks to those he doesn't go back to meat. Really? I guess bacon bits is addicting. I do have a guilty pleasure of eating the bacon bits straight out of the bag. Bacon is a great unifier of people, even for vegetarians. It seems so. It seems so. But yeah, let me come back really quick. I need to get a jar. I need to get a jar to get this bacon, the majority of this bacon grease off. We're gonna leave some in here, but we're not gonna. But I need to save the bacon grease. If you don't have any oil, this makes good oil. You can also use this for baking, by the way. You do have to wonder the times they didn't have, at the time when they couldn't get oil out of vegetables. What did they use? Bacon or pork grease. So be very careful of this part because this is hot. Okay. And then there's some bits here which I'm just gonna leave there. That's gonna be stuck to the bottom of the pizza once we get to it. And that's gonna be okay. It just gives another extra dimension to our pizza once we're done. But yeah, we have a little bit of, maybe not a little bit, it's a decent amount. You can't really see it. I don't think you can really see it. But it's a decent amount of bacon grease that we saved that you can be used for different things later. If you have enough bacon grease, you can even deep fry with it. I think you would need quite a bit of bacon grease for that though. Okay, I am gonna set this thing aside so that it cools down because I'm gonna need a cool pan later to work in, to put this in about 17 minutes. So set this aside. This thing's gonna have to be put aside also for now because we're gonna be working on the pizza once that's done. But let's take a quick look at our pizza dough. Let's take a quick look at the pizza dough and see where that's at. I'm hoping it is actually alive right now. Let me see. Has it grown? I think it's grown. It looks like it's puffed up a bit. It's probably not as big as you would expect it to be, but it has puffed up a little bit. I'm just gonna cover that for a little bit longer because we do have about 16-17 minutes left. So I'm gonna set that aside. We have one tiny little prep left to do that I forgot to do. So I have nuts here, right? We have nuts. We have some nuts. We got almonds, cashews, also some peanuts from this bag. There's some peanuts in here. I will use the peanuts for sure. As nice as deep fried in bacon grease sounds, my mind is telling me no. It's just fat. It's just fat with a taste of pork. If there is any pork flavor left in there. But anyway, so what we need to do right now, so I just grabbed the peanuts from this bag. I'm putting them in here. We're gonna add a few more nuts to this. So to make this into N pizza. To make this into an N pizza, I thought of doing like peanut chunks. We might still be able to do peanut chunks, but I was gonna try to like do a crushed nut topping on top of the pizza. How does that sound? Crushed nut topping. I'm gonna crush some nuts. This is gonna go away for now. Yeah, just stay away from deep fried in general. That's fair. That's fair. I try to too. Alright, it's gonna be a little bit of a mixed nut. Just a little bit of cashews. Now these are honey almonds, so this is going to be a little bit on the sweet side. But we're already going to be putting some pineapple on top, so the sweetness is just going to be part of it now. So a little bit, and we probably don't need more than this because that's going to get crushed. Any more than that's a little bit too much, and that is on you if you prefer to add more nuts to that. All right, so we got nuts. And we just need to crush these nuts. And I'm trying to find something to crush these nuts with. So, I could try punching them. Punching doesn't work too well though. Yeah, punching doesn't work too well. How about this? Back side of my knife. Oh, that works pretty well. This is why we use the back side. Okay, I think that's done. I think that's done. I just wanted to get some nuts that are crushed a little bit, but not into a fine powder. There's going to be sprinkled on top, and that'll fulfill our requirement for this pizza. You know, how long has it been? Hey. If you can have fun with like crushing nuts, right? If you can have fun with crushing nuts, why don't you? Some people like crushing nuts. Make it fun. Make it fun. Okay, eggs. Eggs, I think are done. They're cooled already. So let's grab this. I would dig in there, but I just noticed some oil floating in the water, and I don't want to touch that. I don't want to touch the oil. That was my fault for putting the putting some things in there. Okay, let me see if I can grab this. Okay, egg. And egg. Okay, done with that water. I'm gonna set this aside. Okay. I'm just gonna dry the eggs a little bit. Don't want wet eggs here. Okay. So I'm just gonna peel the eggs and slice them for when we use it in a little bit. Just a little extra prep before we have to put everything together. I don't know how most people do their egg cracking. I just like to tap on this a little bit so that the shell comes out a little easier. Why is there water in here? Why is there water in this? Does water go into the egg when you boil it? Or soak it? Huh. I don't think I've had that. I don't think I've realized that. Okay, well then. if I wanted this to be like perfect, like a perfect egg, like here on the bottom, you see how flat this is over here? I would have pierced the bottom of the egg so that the air vents a little bit, but I didn't do that. I did not do that today. So it's gonna be flat. It's gonna have a flat bottom. And a flat bottom egg, you know, is fine too. It still tastes like an egg. It's still an egg in every way. It's just a flat bottom egg. Just a very flat bottom. Has no roundness, no rump to it. So yeah. Okay, that is gonna be cleaned up later, along with a bunch of other stuff that's gonna be cleaned up later. Okay, this bacon has to go back to the cold. Go back to the cold, bacon. Otherwise, you're gonna melt at room temperature, and you know you will. You know you will. Okay. Just trying to get rid of any eggshells that are still on the egg. There's still little micro eggshells left on these things. Okay, that's good. That's good. One more thing to finish this off. Nikki Attic opinions on egg bottoms. I mean, look at this. That's so flat. Normally, whenever you have ramen eggs, this bottom is not quite as flat. No one wants to see a flat egg. No one does. So normally you would have to add a hole at on one side of the egg. So that this doesn't happen. Tip, add a hole to your egg so that the bottoms are not flat. Okay, this is gonna be high level dangerous stuff, and because I totally forgot to get my, what do you call this? Cutting board. High level dangerous stuff, don't try unless you're absolutely sure you know what you're doing. Cutting egg on the hand, very carefully. Very carefully. It's gonna look like that. And I'm just gonna put that with the bacon here. Just gonna put that aside the bacon. Do not press too hard or else you will actually cut yourself. And you don't want that. Just easy, easy, easy. I don't know how many slices we need or how thick this needs to be. But we may not use all of it. Part of the presentation of this pizza is that we see the yellows. And if this one doesn't have any yellow, I'm gonna eat it. Never really bother with hard boiling them for ramen. Soft boiled is more my thing. Yeah. when you do ramen, you always want to do soft boiled. The only people that hard boil their eggs are the people who don't like eating what do you call this? The people who don't like eating soft-boiled eggs because they think they're going to catch salmonella from having an egg that's not thoroughly cooked. Because you know, that's still a thing that people fear. Salmonella, as if salmonella is going to kill you. It might kill some people, probably. But I feel like at most you're just going to get like an upset stomach, right? Or is it more serious than that? I don't know. I haven't really looked. I just know a lot of people are really scared of salmonella, and they will not eat anything short of extremely well done, including especially eggs, including eggs even. Okay, I think that's good. It's not the perfectly cut things, but it's not the most perfectly cut eggs, but we'll take it for now. We're just trying to make pizza on a pan, and perfection is definitely not on the menu today. Let's see. It might kill you, but it might not. What makes you stronger? What makes you stronger, right? Yeah, I guess. If it doesn't kill you, it'll make you stronger. So they say. So they say. But but even if you feel fine after eating something that might be contaminated, you don't know if it's actually contaminated, right? Unless someone else eats it and they get sick, but you didn't. Wouldn't try it myself, to be honest, but just saying. Also, just saying, chicken sashimi is a thing in Japan. Think about that for a second. If they can do chicken sashimi with the right preparations, what's stopping you from just, eating an egg raw? If you're doing TKG, Tamago Gohan Kake, which is basically raw egg over a really, really hot rice with some seasoning and furikake, what's stopping you from doing that? Huh? Because I can guarantee you, if you like your TKG, and your rice is hot enough, and your egg is, raw, the rice will not kill the salmonella on it. That's not enough. It is not enough. Your conscience. Okay, I mean, we do know for a fact that Japan has very, very strict hygiene standards for their animals, farm animals, so they can do TKG over there without any worries. And the US and Canada and most places in the world, not so much, right? Right. But that still doesn't stop people from trying. Actually, I don't know if I told this story before, but I remember on more than one occasion in the Philippines, right? One of my grandfathers had like a small chicken coop. I mean, it was like a small farm. Like they had like a small farm, and they had a chicken coop to the side. And one morning, when I was still very, 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 very small, he took me out to where the chickens are, got the egg from them, and drank it, like cracked the egg and drank the egg straight that just came out from the chicken. And he gave me one too. I drank it. It was good, and we were fine. We were not sick. So yeah, I mean, I've eaten raw eggs before, it's like straight from the chicken. So it's like, okay, it's okay. I'm okay with that. It's normal for me. But I do realize some things might be not as good. I feel like if you clean the egg well enough, it's going to be fine. But I do realize also that the egg is a porous thing. But is it porous enough where bacteria can actually go inside the egg? Question mark. Question mark. Is it thick enough to where the bacteria can go inside, or there's going to be outside? I feel like there's going to be an outside. So if you clean the egg, the outside of the egg, it should be okay. But don't take my word for it. I would definitely look that up first. I would not be responsible if anyone gets a stomachache from that theory. So yeah. But okay, it looks like we're pretty much done with the dough. It looks like, oh, it feels very soft. It feels very soft. Let me take that out. I think it's time to take this out. Oh yeah, it's good. It's a good dough. It's a good dough. What I should have done also was put some oil in here to make this part easier. But oh well. That's okay. That's okay. Okay. Alright, normally I would have some flour here to roll this around, but if it starts sticking, then I'll do that. But if it's not an issue, it's not an issue. The only reason why you see flour on the table is so that the dough stops sticking on the table. But if it's not sticking, I'm not going to worry. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this a little bit. Divide that into two. So one's going to be used for me later, so this is going to be used for me on my own time. This is the dough that we're going to be working with. So I forgot to get my rolling pin. Let me come back really quick. Rolling pin. Rolling pin. We need to make this flat. And I just realized the flaw in my plan. Thank you about the timer. Thank you about the timer. I have to head out now. Don't know if you'll be back when I'm here when I'm back, but if you are, stop by. What's it? I will stop by. Can't wait to see how it turns out. Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't think we'll be, I think we're going to be taking for at least maybe 30 minutes more to finish this pizza out because we're not quite done. But yeah, thank you for dropping by in that case. Have a good rest of your day. All right. Maybe I will add a little, no, I don't have flour on me. Okay, I'm just hoping it doesn't stick. Just don't stick, please. Do not stick. Set this aside because I don't have enough room as it is. Okay, you just want to flatten this a little bit. That is a good dough. Very surprised that this turned out as well as it did. I wasn't sure how that was going to turn out considering how sloppy it was, but I'll take this. I will take this. Okay. Okay, not a perfect circle, but there have been pizzas that are not perfect circles either. All right, so that's as thin as we can get with the what do you call this? With the rolling pin. I'm gonna stretch this out a little bit more, but we need to get the pan. Here is the pan that we're gonna be putting it in. I don't think it's gonna stretch all the way around. I don't think it's gonna go all the way around, but we're gonna put it in this pan. We have already some lubrication here. The lubrication in the form of bacon fat is not very even, so I'm gonna wipe that around to make that a little bit more even. And there we go. Okay, so that's good. So we need to stretch this a little bit. So if you're doing like a roti or a naan, I think they make the dough a little bit thinner than what I did, also smaller pieces. But since we're making pizza, I think we can afford this to be a little bit thicker than roti or naan. But I just need to stretch this to fill the pan right now. It's not gonna go all the way to the sides. It's gonna be pretty thin. I'm just pushing it to the sides. Okay, we got some bacon bits on top, and that is fine. All right. Okay, so here's the other thing. I don't have any tomato sauce. I do not have tomato sauce, but that's okay. Because we've had barbecue pizza before, right? Generally, it's an open pan with no edges either. This is true, but have you ever seen a Detroit pizza? A Detroit pizza is like a square pan pizza, I think. So you know, if they can make a pizza like that, that's fine too. But I do have an open pan, but it's not gonna fit on my burner here. So this is the next best thing. If I could, I would use the open pan, but we cannot. But yeah, we are gonna use barbecue sauce for the sauce this time. And we're gonna do Korean barbecue sauce because this is what I have. I made some chicken with this last week, and it was super good. So I'm hoping that'll work for our pizza here today. Let's see, I also need to get some other things out. We also have some cheese. Almost forgot the cheese. But let's just do this stepwise right now. Okay, sauce first. Sauce first. And I am just going to take a little bit of sauce for now. Because I think this is supposed to be not too thick. But I'm gonna need a little bit more sauce than that. Okay. Definitely a little bit more sauce than this. That is... I don't think that's quite enough. Okay, that might be too much now, but we'll work with it. I just want a decent... I just want good coverage. Get on the outer rims of that pizza. It's gonna taste like bulgogi pizza by the time we're done with it. You know, I bet you their barbecue sauce in like Korea and Japan is different from the barbecue sauce from the US and Canada. I just feel it. I hope the sauce isn't too salty. Good call. Let me try. It's actually not. It's on the sweet side. The sauce is on the sweet side. So it should be okay. It's gonna be this is gonna be like a sweet pizza. By the time we're done with it, it's gonna be a sweet pizza. Yeah, if you look at the label here, Korean barbecue sauce, chicken and pork marinade, and sweetened by apple and pear. So it is on the sweet side. Okay, next, I think cheese is next. This is where the saltiness is gonna come in, and I have pepper jack. That's all I got. I guess mozzarella is the general type, but I got pepper jack. So I think there's a debate on what kind of cheese works best with pizza, shredded or sliced. But I think if you want a stretchy like pizza, like you know when you bite into it and the cheese stretches, you want to use this sliced cheese. Shredded cheese is not really gonna give you that because it's shredded. It looks like it forms together once it bakes, but it's shredded. It's not gonna stretch, you know. So we're gonna just do maybe 4 slices of this 4 slices of cheese. Use whatever cheese you want. I have pepper jack here. Pepper jack. There's going to be an overlap in the middle. I think that's going to be okay. Maybe ideally you don't have that overlap so that it's so there's not too much cheese in the middle. But we got what we got. And then it's time to put the bacon and stuff. So bacon. Oh yeah, before I continue, I need to get the burner here and heat that up so that there's not too much downtime with the heating. Because if you let this sit out, the sauce will make the pizza dough soggy. So okay, I'm setting the burner up to around 450. Normally when you bake pizza, I think it's around 400. But since this is just coming from the bottom of the pan, I'm going to go a little higher to make sure that we get our heat. My only worry right now is that the bottom of the pan is going to burn a little bit. The bottom of the pizza is going to burn. But I think we'll see it when we see it. That's part of the experiment. I do it so you don't have to, right? That's the theory. So we'll see how it works. That's a lot of bacon. That's a lot of bacon on this pizza. I got one more strip of bacon. Can I fit one more strip of bacon here? I think that's okay. It's a little crowded. I can probably arrange this a little bit better. And that's why we're R&D. Yes, exactly why. Exactly why we're R&D. Okay, eggs. The eggs are falling apart, so this is going to not look so pretty. And I'm probably not going to be putting as many eggs here as I want to. But I'm going to try to put as many eggs as I can. So, and I think we need one more egg here in the middle. No, let's not put an egg in the middle, because when this gets cut, it's going to be like 1 egg per slice. That's how it's going to be. And I have some extra eggs here on the side. You don't need to see that because it's a mess. Okay, the pan is still heating. We're not done with this yet, though. We are absolutely not done with this. We have this still. We have to make it a signature of this channel to try to fit in pineapples wherever we can. Why? Because I said so. That's why. Okay, pineapples. Normally would be better in baked pizza, like actual oven-baked pizza, but we cannot do that today. So I don't know how this is going to work. I really don't know if this is going to work at all. But we're gonna add it like this. Add it like this. And I said we're not going to put anything in the middle, but we'll put this in the middle just because. Pineapples, and I have extras left for snacking later. Actually, I'll snack on one right now. Could use one. It's pretty good. Needs to be chilled though. Chilled pineapples are best. Also not done yet. One of the pizzas in the picture earlier had mayo on top. Normally baked But since we cannot bake it, mayo goes in now. We're gonna do mayo. This is purely a Japanese thing, so if you don't like mayo, fine. That's okay. That's okay. Aesthetic mayo, and we have one more thing to add. Because it is N. We have some nuts here. It probably dries up or gets caught up by the cheese. I think so too. But when you bake it, right? When you bake it, the heat also comes from the top, so it'll dry from the top. But since we don't have that, we don't have that kind of heat for this cooking method. I will be using a lid. I also put paper on the lid because it is reflective as heck. But we're gonna put a lid. Hopefully that'll help cook the top. It's probably gonna be in the form of steam more than anything. But it is what it is, and we'll take what we can get. But we also need to add some nuts to this. Nuts. Just a healthy sprinkle of nuts for November. It looks like a hot mess. That's not cooked yet, because it is not cooked yet. But once it is cooked, this should come out much, much better. Trust me, trust in the process. This will work out. Okay. And is here. Lid's gonna go on top. Lid will go on top. There we go. And now we wait. We wait a bit more. How long are we gonna wait? We are gonna wait for, let's say 10 minutes. Let's see where it is in 10 minutes. Because I don't know what the cooking time for this is going to be. But let's say 10 minutes. Yes, we'll put a timer on screen too, so that we have something there. 10 minutes. There we go. This will work out, said every mad scientist ever. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, you can make roti like this, but to be fair, roti and naan, the way they're cooked on the pan is like a little bit of oil, and then you put the dough on the pan, and then after a little while you flip it. We did not do that. There was no flipping. So because of no flipping, this might not work out as expected. Hence the part of the plan that might fail a little bit. If I was really being thorough about this, what I should have done was bake the dough first. Like pan cook the dough first ahead of time, just a little bit, not too much, and then put everything else on top. I did not do that. I was not being smart about that. I did not think of that until this very moment. Crap. I probably should have done that. Well, let's see it. Let's just see it. Let's just see how it turns out. Let's see how it turns out. This is that's what we're here for. To see if this works or not. A lot of times when I do my cooking experiments off stream, I fail a lot. And when I say I fail a lot, I fail a lot. But I think it would be too much of a chore, to be honest, to like film or stream every single one of my cooking attempts, because I wouldn't know how to make a good story out of it. At the end of the day, it's really telling a story of what you did, how you got there, and what the results are. It's kind of like an actual research paper, except a research paper has more facts and figures. While most people don't care about facts and figures, they want to know the who, what, when, where, how in the most colorful way possible. Um, Not so much with a research paper. Research paper is fairly dry. Oh, it's sizzling. I can hear the sizzle. That's a good sign. But yeah, it's I mean, it's not like I'm working. It's not like I'm doing this just to put stuff together. I am just putting stuff together, but there's a working theory coming behind it. So, yeah. Well, you're still alive and your place doesn't burn down. I think you're doing okay. Funny story about that. Maybe not really a funny story. When I was baking one time, the place did almost burn down, but it was not my fault. It actually was not my fault. It was because the heating element at the bottom of the oven apparently short-circuited or something. I didn't know they could do that. Actually, not short-circuited. It kept on burning, the heating element at the bottom, for some reason or another. Even after the power was turned off and it was unplugged, kept on burning and basically ate itself up. So it burnt into like a black crisp of something. I don't know what it was. Like, you know how the filaments, the tungsten filaments in old school light bulbs, how they burn out after if you use them for too long? It was the same exact thing. That heating element did the exact same thing, except on a much larger scale and like actually got me worried because it could, like, you know, potentially burn everything. So I actually got called 911 for that one because I wasn't sure what to do, and they put it out, and apparently it was just the heating element burning out. So that's how I found out. That's how I found that out. And it never happened again because it's a rare thing, but you know, we're still okay. Far too literal for a joke. I mean, yeah, I guess it wasn't supposed to be a joke. It was more like, this thing happened. I'm glad I survived from it, but it's not a story that that could be, I know, it could be funny. It could also be a warning. Take it however you want it. But point is, I'm doing a PSA. I'm doing a PSA for everyone. Just be aware. Just be aware. A lot of people freak out from cooking, and so it's like, a lot of people freak out from things that happen during cooking that they don't expect, especially if they're not a what do you call this? If they don't cook regularly. So yeah, just letting you know. Hey Ollie, welcome. No, you're late again. How was the pizza? Yeah. So right now we're in the part of the stream where we're actually cooking the pizza, baking / cooking the pizza in a pan. So that's what's happening here right now. And we don't know how it's going to turn out. There was a step that I could have done before this I didn't think of until I put this on here. But can you hear the pan? Yeah, you can hear the pan. Yeah, I put some paper on top of it because it's reflective as heck, and I don't want to dox myself. That's why. But yeah, we put a bunch of stuff on top of the pizza. You can check the VOD out later. I'll also try to put the recipe in the description later if you want to give it a try. With an actual oven. I think it's burning. I'm going to lower the temperature a little bit. I think it's burning. It actually smells burnt a little bit. I'm worried. So I'm lowering the temperature down from 450 to 500. The bottom might be burnt a little bit. We'll check it out once we get there. But yeah. But we put a bunch of stuff on top of the pizza, pre-cooked a few things because of how this cooking method works. Baking method, I guess. And I don't know if it's going to turn out the way we expect it to. But that's not the point. The point is to try it here, see if it works. If it doesn't, we learned something. If it does work, yay, we have another method if we want to like make pizza out in the out camping or whatnot. If it doesn't work, I do have another half dough here that I can use for myself. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna use this on stream. This is mine. This is mine for off-stream purposes. But I made enough dough for like 2 pizzas today. 2 small pizzas. Normally it would be 4, but I had to like mix the dough earlier by hand. Made dough manually. We did not use a mixer because again, the mixer is reflective as heck and it would dox me for sure. 100% for sure. I tried. I looked. It was very reflective. Otherwise, it would make my job like 10 times easier. I also did wonder if bakers back in the day, before mixers were made, if they were what do you call this? Buff as heck. Because holy crap, it takes a lot of effort to mix that dough, to knead that dough. Normally, it would be using 2 hands. I was using 1 because I had to hold the bowl, but it was very labor intensive. Very labor intensive. Mixing and kneading at the same time. And making sure everything was just right. Excuse me, by the way, I am munching on something. I just finished my breakfast. So, we're gonna have second breakfast now with this pizza. Probably yes, if you had to do a ton at once. Probably yes, too, yeah. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that they have like at least decent muscles, you know. It's like I don't know what the image of bakers are these days, or pastry chefs or whatnot, but I feel like bakers are kind of underappreciated, like traditional bakers anyway, just because there's a lot of work that goes into it. If you go to your favorite bakery that does bake their stuff on site, maybe a lot of the dough is already pre-made, maybe not. Oh. My timer just went off. Okay, let's see how this comes out. Oh, wow! That's much better than I expected. Holy crap, okay. Let's go. Let's go. That looks nice, right? That looks nice. Hold up, I gotta get a spatula to get this out. I'm not gonna be able to get it out otherwise. I need a spatula. Look at that. Yeah, it looks pretty good, right? I am actually amazed. Holy crap. Hey, am I okay? Okay, quick question. Am I actually a mad scientist or do I actually know what I'm doing? There's a fine line to both of these. There is a fine line. Hold up. Let's get this out of the way. Because I think that's done. We did it for 10 minutes. I think that's done. I can be both. All right, let's check this out. So I actually do have a pizza pan here. We just didn't use it because it wouldn't fit. Otherwise, I would have. It looks like it feels like the bottom is fairly solid. Looks good. That actually looks good. I'm gonna take some pictures. Holy crap, this needs a picture. Still yet to be determined. Come on. Okay, it doesn't look good from the overview shot, I admit. there's not enough light, not enough contrast for this, so I'm gonna post pictures up in the community tab later. I'm actually enjoying the community tab quite a bit. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna post that in the community tab as well as Twitter. So yeah, let's take a look to see how this pizza actually is. I can see the bottom right now. The bottom looks very crispy. Very crispy. The top, we did pre-cook a lot of stuff. We pre-cooked the bacon. The cheese looks like it melted pretty nicely. The pineapples we did not pre-cook. I probably should have. Oh well. The eggs are somewhere. They're buried in the cheese and mayo and whatnot. But yeah, let's go ahead and check this out. I'm actually curious. Please don't move. The pizza sounds very crispy, but I don't know if that's because the bottom is burnt or what. I'm gonna find that out. Ow, 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 that is hot. That is hot. Okay. I am gonna go with 4 slices because I like doing slices in 4 typically when I do my own pizza. You can do 6, you can do 8. I like 4. But we are gonna take a look. So it is a very crispy pizza. I also took a look just now at the bottom and it looks burnt as heck. I need a plate. I need a plate. Where's... I guess we'll use this plate. I'm gonna have to just move some things from here first and we'll use a separate plate. Okay, pizza slice right here. Cheese stretched just a little bit. You can't really see the bottom from here, but I'm gonna show it to you once we can, and I'm gonna have to clean this mess up later because for some reason there's a lot of liquid around here. Okay, pizza slice, 1/4 of a pizza. Top looks fairly well done, or actually, pizza dough is cooked, I think. It's holding up, it's not flopping. However, here's the big however, the downfall of this pizza, which I had a feeling was gonna happen, but here's the downfall of this pizza. Black. It is pure charcoal. It is black as night at the bottom of that pizza. I think it's still gonna be edible, but definitely if I had to do this over again, I would pre-cook the pizza a little bit, use a lower temperature. We'll use a lower temperature, maybe not 450, maybe we could do like 350, maybe not even 400, 350 I feel like, 350 for about 10 to 15 minutes, so that we don't get this. That's the main issue here. But let's give it a taste anyway. It looks fine on top. It looks fine on top. That's all that matters. That's all that matters for the stream. But the bottom is yeah, it's a mess. All right, itadakimasu. Hopefully the charcoal is going to be tasty too. Okay. Pizza top, good. Not as sweet as I thought it would be, because we did use like a sweet barbecue sauce, but it's not very sweet because I think of the cheese. The mayo, I don't think I got any pieces of mayo, but I did get bits of the nuts. And the nut bits were not interfering too much. I don't think they added any flavor, but they might have added a little extra texture that I wasn't aware of. The important part, the bottom of the pizza that's black as night, did add a little bit of bitterness that wasn't actually too bad. If you're sensitive to bitterness, you might taste it. I guess I would say I'm in the middle of the bitterness scale. I don't really like too much bitter stuff. I don't like bitter melon. This is okay. If we left it in there for too much longer, then it would have actually been bad. But this much, it just looks bad, but it's actually not that bad. Still, though, I probably would have done the lower temperature to cook the pizza in the pan. I'm not sure how you would control that with fire, but 350, a 350 degree pan, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, by the way, should get the job done. You just cook it for a little bit longer than 10 minutes. Say 15 minutes, that will do the job. Otherwise, though, the egg is good, the pizza is good, the cheese is good, the bacon is good, the pineapple. I need to eat the pineapple. Pineapple's also good. Probably should have used rings, but the chunks are okay. Overall, not bad, actually. This is not a bad experiment. This actually, for all intents and purposes, I think it went well. Look, if it was 350 Celsius, I'm not sure if there would be a pizza to speak of. I cooked this pizza at 450 at first, and then turned it down to 400. What do you call it? Well, yeah, Celsius. Never mind. You said Celsius. If it was Celsius, so the temperature in Celsius that I used initially was about 225. I toned it down to 200. So if you want to cook this in Celsius, maybe about 175 in Celsius. 175 in Celsius for about 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 15 minutes should be okay if you want to absolutely use a pan and don't have an oven. But if you do have an oven, use the oven. Use the oven if you have an oven. But if you don't have an oven and you only have a pan, 350. 350 should be good. Make sure you have a lid though. If you don't have a lid, it won't work too well. The lid is a must. The lid is a must. But actually not bad. Overall, not bad. I'm quite proud of this one. I call this a good success. Maybe 80% B ranking. We'll take a B ranking today. So the other thing the other thing I may or may not have mentioned for people just coming in, I did use pineapple juice instead of water to mix the dough. And I only mention that because I can't taste the pineapple in the dough itself right now. I can't taste the pineapple in the pizza. Like, it was pure pineapple juice, but I can't taste it. Also, that proves today that you can use juice to proof your dough. It works. It absolutely works. So yeah, I think we learned a lot of things today. It's a good success. Good success. Let's put that to the side. I'm gonna munch on that. Let's put this over here so that we have a good backdrop for the stream. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to my to my desk over here, and we'll close out for today. You think the acidity of the juice may have made it burn faster. What do you think that? I never actually considered it, so why do you think that? I'm curious. Because I don't think the I don't think the acidity in the dough would have mattered. I do know that if you put too much sugar in the dough, those kinds of doughs do tend to burn a little bit faster. So that would make sense if that's the case. Because I've made I made sweet dough before with more sugar than you would probably put in a normal bread, and that definitely did not like direct heat as much compared to the other stuff, for sure. All right then. Okay, noise gate off. But yeah, I think today was very successful. I'm glad for everyone that has been in this channel before, and also anyone who will be in this channel in the future. It's nice. It's nice knowing that people do visit here for whatever randomness that we come up with. I am trying to do more cooking streams because that's where I am most random at. I have some cooking beliefs that are a little bit unconventional, at least to most people, and some cooks may cringe at it. But if I think about it, there's definitely some what do you call this? Cooking is a science. Cooking is also an art, and people who study cooking quite a bit definitely know their thing. Uh, Water has more oxygen to it. I think more acid content makes it more prone. Or I could just be spitballing. I'm actually not sure. I wouldn't be able to know. Can I have a link to your Discord? Is the Discord link not in the in the description? I did not put it in the description. Let's see. Does this work? Let me see. Does this work? Does that work? I may not have turned that thing on. Let me try that again. Yeah, just be aware if you go to the Discord, it's kind of dead. I'm sorry to say it kind of the Discord is a little bit dead. Um, just because when there are some people there, it's just when I usually chat in my other friend groups and not normally in the other Discord. Okay, I did not put the link. Okay, so let me grab the link really quick then. Otherwise, I think you can find the Discord link. Yeah, I think I should just put it. I think I should just put it in the description or something. Let me try to grab it though. Where is invite link? Invite link. Server settings. Why? Okay. Invite. Okay, this is not the invite I usually use, but here we go. Here we go. You can use that. You can use that. But yeah, if you want to join the Discord, feel free to. I will just say though, we do have a weirdo running around in the Discord, so pay them no mind. Pay them no mind. I'm still trying to figure out how to deal with them, but yeah. But with all the things happening on Twitter, it's hard to keep up. Oh yeah, the whole Twitter shenanigans thing. I mean, I feel like here's my take on that whole Twitter thing. What happens with Twitter is, I mean, Twitter is maybe like the place where a lot of people, can't you just ban them? It's tempting, I'll be honest. It's tempting. But I haven't been given a reason yet to do that. I haven't been given a reason to do that. That's the thing. Anyway, that aside, that aside, the whole Twitter thing, yeah, that's an interesting thing altogether. Everyone knows by now that Elon Musk has bought Twitter out and making huge changes to Twitter. For whether it's for better or worse, I have no idea. I honestly don't have any opinion on it at the moment. Um, my friends who are a little bit are usually who are usually more on the level-headed side are saying just wait, just watch and see what's going to happen because no one knows. Yeah, there's a whole fee with the verification thing and boosting visibility and whatnot. But if you're not getting any visibility before, I don't think you're going to get much visibility later. At least that's my thoughts on it. But who knows? We'll see how it goes. I do know for sure, though, I do know for sure that I may be using the community tab in YouTube a bit more. Just because we finally have it, I can make announcements there. It targets the people who I know it's going to target, at least, for the community itself. Um, so that is, what do you call this? That's probably where I'm going to be focusing most of my efforts into as far as announcements and stuff like that. For any other random stuff, like I post a lot of photos, like trip photos, Japan pictures. I post a lot of pictures I took from Japan on Twitter, but I do notice a lot of people don't react to it or see it. So I'm trying to figure out a place to put them. I thought about putting it on Instagram, or I thought of putting it in on Tumblr. Both of those, though, don't really have that great of discovery. The only way you're going to find those types of pictures there, or let's just say VTuber stuff or streamer stuff in general, is if people already know about it. I feel like Twitter's the same way, to be honest. So honestly, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm just following the lead right now, what everyone else is doing. Some people are migrating to Tumblr. Yeah, I know Tumblr's kind of dead. Just because the R18 stuff, the explicit R18 stuff is not allowed there, right? And that's basically what killed Tumblr a long time ago. Sad, sad, but I feel like if we had that, it would be a more lively place. But oh well. I did think of putting it on Instagram. I did have an Instagram back then. It is on my non-VTuber account that I have a bunch of pictures on. But I don't think I'm going to use that if I what do you call this? If I decide to go back to Instagram on a different account. Have you done a stream where you showcase Japan pics? I have not yet. I actually want to do like a stream series of of various Japan topics. We did one before about trip planning, but I'm gonna break up the trip planning stream into trip planning videos. I still need to work on that. But Japan pictures, I mean Japan talk streams, I am planning to do. I just need to figure out what I'm going to talk about because there's a lot of things we could talk about regarding that, and I can show you guys pictures also when we do that. Like a lot of people just want to go to Tokyo, Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, that kind of thing, and Tokyo, Akiba, Shibuya, Shinjuku, that kind of stuff. But I want to show you guys more things than just that. More things than just that. Because there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. I just need to figure out what I want to talk about and how I'm going to talk about it. We could also eventually do... No, we could probably do it during the talk streams too. Is Google Maps view. We can do Google Maps view on some cities just because there's information regarding that. If we didn't have that, if we weren't able to do that, like for the Halloween stream, I wanted to do a Google Maps walking tour of the scary places in Japan. We couldn't do that because there's no information, there's no map information regarding that. But for cities and some small towns, we should have some. We should have some. But yeah, so the plan for the rest of the month regarding Sunday, I'm hopefully gonna do another cooking stream this month. So we'll be doing that probably closer to the end of the month because I gotta plan what I'm going to cook. So next week is probably going to be a Zatsudan type, and we could do Japan talk. We could do Japan talk that time. I just got to figure out what I want to talk about first, because like I said, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and I have months. months worth of talks regarding that, and I will never get tired of talking about it. So yeah, yeah. So Sundays are gonna be like Zazudan cooking stuff. That's been the case since recent times. So we're gonna keep that up. We're gonna keep that up, and I want to keep that up too. But yeah, so yeah, so any if you guys have any recipes that you want me to try to do, I know I know cashew dishes have been mentioned, chicken cashew, beef cashew, like last time. But if you have any other recipes that you want me to look into to give a try for our next cooking stream for this month, uh, please post it in the description. Please post it in the description after the stream. I'll try to remember to put the recipe also for this pizza after the stream is done. But yeah, I think we're gonna end it here for today. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for watching. I will see you all next time. The next stream is going to be on Tuesday. I'm planning on Tuesday anyway. We're going to be doing a game that time. So just come by, drop, chill, talk, and we'll go through one of the games I've been trying to finish. I need to finish this game. And finish this game. So I'll see you next time. Also, we'll do other stuff during the week. But yeah, I'll try to get those videos up whenever I can. It's just time and effort. Mostly effort. A lot of effort. But yeah, pizza. I'll post pictures of the pizza, good pictures of the pizza on the community tab later also. All right, see you guys. See you everyone. Have a nice rest of your day. Have a good night, good morning, wherever you are. And bye-bye. See you later.